everybody, I am popping in to just get started on McCall's 5894. This is not going to be a so long, but what I will do is share with you the fitting process for me. I am cutting out the largest size. I have the largest size pack, which is 24W. This is also a Butterick. It has been re-released as Butterick 6840. And so, yeah, there is already actually a full-blown sew-along for this pattern on here on YouTube by Tomcat Stitchery. So, I'll link to her first video down below. So if you want a step-by-step in all of that, but you'll have to take in consideration your shape. Her and I are shaped differently, so there are certain things that she took in consideration I did not, that I will have to in my fitting process. I am using a stretch denim, and so I don't believe this pattern actually calls for stretch. It just says denim poplin twill. Oh, it says stretch denim. It doesn't have a stretch chart on this particular pattern. It might be in the instructions. I didn't look, but this is how much stretch it has. So it has a comfortable amount of stretch. It's this gray denim. I have been, as you all know, been trying to work through my fabric collection and trying to be mindful of what I purchase and what I use things for. Obviously, if I see something I absolutely love that I know I'll use in the future, I don't mind those type of purchases, but I am trying to really hone in and you know, work through the stash. So this is from the stash that I have had, I want to say 5 or 6 years. Yes, it's been that long. These were always intended to be jeans, a different pattern, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna use that for this pattern, because actually these pants, I haven't decided what I want to do different. I'm doing view A. I think I want to fray the bottom of the pants of the jeans just to give it a little bit of a different look, but we shall see. So I just ironed all of my pattern pieces, make sure everything is nice and flat. I am getting ready to do a muslin. My muslin is only going to be shorts. I'm not going to do the full jean. I just want to do, you know, maybe around the knee up to above the knee area. I'm just concerned about the fit around the midsection and around the back. Make sure there's no gaping or anything like that. And around the hip, no drag lines, that type thing. So I will come back in once I have completed the muslin so you can see the fit on that and any adjustments I may have to make. So I will be right back. Okay, so here is my muslin for the pants. And it's just a rough cut. I just did just to the knees because this is the area for me that I'm most concerned with, not below my knee, because the length I can shorten it and all that later. But this is what I wanted to see, how this all fit. So as you can tell, this is pretty tight. So what I did was, because one, you all know the denim I'm using is quite stretchy. So on the seam lines for this pattern, the Palmer and Plesh, they want you to use 1 inch on the sides and inner here, right? And then you can make adjustments from that. And so what I was hoping happened did happen. I was like, okay, I don't know how this is, I'm using stretch, so I have to keep that in mind. So when I do the 1 inch on the side, the 1 inch in the inseam, I was hoping it would be tight. Why? One, because I'm using stretch denim. And it has quite a bit of stretch, and I didn't want the final result to look too baggy. And then I was like, okay, if I do the full 1 inch and I find that I'm thinking it's snug, but I can go down to 5/8 inch, that will be good because I still got the stretch, right? So for me, that's fine in here. So the tummy area, I'm truly not overly concerned about this. Again, I'm gonna use 5/8 inch, same allowance for all of that. I'm gonna show you the back because it is, I'm gonna have to fix the back for sure. But here's the waistband. And this is the first pair of jeans I think I've made that has one waistband and it's not two parts. And so what I did like from Tomcat Stitchery is how she showed how she did the contour. So I'm gonna do that because look at this. I have to, there's quite a bit. I'll pinch that out right in the middle, in the back. And the other thing, hopefully you can tell, I know I'm losing lighting. So I'm gonna have to pinch out about this much from this waistband because this is the waistband when it comes over and close and all of that. Yeah, so I will take out from here and center back for that to make it contour. But also for me, this dips down. So it goes in here. I need more room in here, right in this area. So I'm not gonna mess with the yoke. So if you have the Palmer and Plesh, the pattern, you know, they take you through all the fit adjustments you can make. So just use the tips in the pattern. Plus I have the book as well. But anyway, I'm gonna lengthen this right in here. Not messing with the yoke. The yoke is fine. And that will bring, and I need it to come up for me about, I'll measure, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'm going to measure from here where my, actually where my panty style is how much I want it to come up. And that way, that'll, once I increase that, it'll bring all of that up and that'll be sitting at a better place for me. Yeah. And so that is, those are the adjustments I am going to make. Again, because I was, because there is so much stretch in the denim, I was a little concerned that the final result will be too baggy. So I was hoping, okay, I hope these come out tight. These here come out tight with the 1 inch in, and then when I take it down to a quarter, I'm sorry, sew it at 5/8 inch, with that, all that stretch in there, that should really loosen this up and then make that adjustment for the waistband as well as that inseam in the back to raise this to add length there. And so I'll follow the instructions there because what I'll have to do is go out to nothing to the side seams, right? And when I add the length in there. So okay, I think that is it. Again, this is non-stretch muslin fabric and my denim has a lot of stretch in it. So I was hoping that these would be tight. So I didn't have to fuss with the denim too much with the seams. But anyway, all right, let's get on to the final jeans. Okay, so I wanted to show real quick because I have the Pants for Real People fit book. I am using this tip. This is actually on page 28 where it shows you where to, if you need more how to alter the crotch. I've done this before. I have a few pages flagged in here. And so I am just going to alter the crotch, the back. And let me show you on the pattern piece where that is because it's showing you there, but I'll show you on the pattern piece as well. Okay, so on the pattern piece, as you can tell, here's the crotch line and then it's also marked on the pattern. So what I will be doing for the back piece, I measured and it's about an inch that I need to add. So what I am going to do is add an inch here. And it has in the instructions how to do that. You cut it and then add in some tape, I'm sorry, some tissue, some paper in between where you have cut, lengthened it. So So that is what I am going to do here. I'm just only going to add 1 inch to that area. Do the waistband and the other parts. And so then I'll continue on and go ahead and sew up the finals. Okay, here is the Baste fit. So I'm actually about to work out, so forgive my workout clothes I got on. So yeah, it feels fine, but let me just share with you a couple things. I messed up on the waistband. So I was following the Tomcat Stitchery because she was doing a contour waistband. That was fine, but what I didn't realize when I was cutting everything out, I did not have enough fabric. I don't know how many, I've had this fabric forever, but anyway, so I end up having to piece together the waistband in pieces, and I just cut the pieces all, I know I cut the pieces all wrong, and I was worried as I was cutting it. But first, let me just share with you this fit. So, you know, I added that inch. I didn't need to. Here is some drooping here. I did not need that down here in the front. The back is fine. I should have graded down to nothing for that front piece, which would have given me, you know, from the side here down, and that was fine, because that fit was fine. The waistband, it goes over fine. Another thing is, if you can tell, let me just show you the waistband. Look at that. I totally messed up the waistband. So, because all of this is basted, I am going to unpick this waistband, and I am going to have to cut it down. I'm gonna just try my best to figure out how to do this, because this waistband is in pieces, and I wasn't really paying attention. I should have been paying better attention how I was cutting this out, because obviously when you saw the fit of the muslin, it fit me better, the waistband better than this, what I was doing. And so I am definitely going to have to, as a matter of fact, it's probably what I'll have to do is I'll take it out from the sides here, and it fits better in the back when I do that. Not sure if you can tell, but I will have to take some out on the side. Luckily, the waistband gives you enough to play with, so I'll still have enough for overlap and everything here. And as far as the length, I still haven't figured out how I'm going to finish these off. I am going to cut 3 inches off the bottom. I still don't know if I'm going to do the frayed thing or just do the hem. I don't know. I have not decided. We'll see by the end. But because there is so much stretch in this denim, I am going to, I did put this at 5/8 inch seam allowance. I am going to do 1 inch for the outer seam and 1 inch for the inseam, because as you know, denim kind of grows with you anyway and stretches over time. This is already a stretch, so I'm just gonna sew it at 1 inch, so to bring it in just a little bit more. But yeah, the pockets, I'm fine where the pockets and everything fit. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna do. Take out from these sides. Yeah, I messed up the waistband, but that's okay. We're gonna get it together, and then add the belt loops, and it's done. The jeans are done, but I'll come in with final pictures and my final review. All right, everybody, so here is the final review. So I have recorded this over several days, so I might repeat myself on a couple things, but I want to say I really do like this jean pattern. Again, it's now Butterick 6840. I'll pop up a picture here, but when I purchased it, and it looks like I purchased this back in 2018. So 2018 was a good 5 years ago. The denim that I'm using, I know I had it before I purchased this pattern. So because I knew when I purchased this denim, I knew I wanted to make some jeans. And while you can use stretch denim for this pattern. As you can tell from my mistakes and different things like that, you don't want something that's too much stretch. And I've had this denim for at least, like I said, I've had it quite some time, so I do not remember where I got it from. I don't even know how much stretch percentage. I want to say it's probably between 15 and 20%, maybe 10 to 15. Maybe it's 10 to 15, maybe 20% is the stretch. You can tell me what you think down in the comments section below. But I do thank you again, everybody, for choosing this pattern. Thank you, thank you, thank you. For those who, by the time you're seeing this, you can still pop over to my community tab, because the first quarter of 2024, the pattern in focus, the company is Know Me Patterns. And so go ahead, go out there and vote. Just tap the picture that cast your vote, and you can go ahead and, yeah, come January, the sewing buzz, I will be telling you which pattern I'll be doing for the month of January. But anyway, again, McCall's 5894, now Butterick 6840. This is the Palmer and Plesh Classic Fit, the perfect jean. Now, what I will say about this pattern, a few things. One, I really do like this jean pattern. I really do like this jean pattern. It's a really good jean pattern. Now, one of the things I will suggest, because I did look at the pattern, but then I was thinking if I was going to, you all know when I do the subscriber pick, I try to see, oh, is this, you know, one I can do a sew along for, if there isn't a sew along already out there. So I did check, there is a sew along out there. I think I mentioned in the beginning of the video, Tomcat Stitchery did a sew along for these jeans. So if you're looking for a very detailed, hers is super duper detailed, to put these together, because she adds rivets and all that different stuff in the end. For anybody who follow my channel, you know, after the first pair of jeans I made several years ago, and I did all of the hardware, the rivets and everything on there, I didn't like that. And ever since then, I don't like denim jeans with the rivets and all that stuff in it. That's just my personal preference. Obviously, we also, you can do what it is that you like. However, I do like the hardware and stuff in other denim projects. I don't know, something with jeans. I don't like top stitching my jeans or anything, so I did not do that. For this, I just used my Mara 100 regular Gutermann thread. I use my denim needle, of course, to put this together, to sew this up, and I sewed it on my Genome HD 3000 machine. So yeah, so there's that. So keep all of that in mind. What I will say, after I made, you saw the adjustments. Again, this is view A. I cut out the largest size, which is a 24W. Had I not used the stretch denim, I think I still would go for, at least at my current measurements, I would still do the 24W. My waist is 41. The fullest part of my hip, which is what I was most concerned about, is 52. So that's what I was concerned about. And you saw on the pattern, the finished garment measurement was 52, but because I had so much stretch in this denim, I wasn't really concerned about this being overly tight. However, still, if say I did choose something with no stretch, I still would have done the 24W, because during the fit process, and it's in the pattern, but you do have 1 inch seam allowances when you're basting the inseam and the outer seams together, so you do have wiggle room to play with there. So keep all of that in mind if that is something that you are considering. In the end, a couple things I wanted to highlight for you. I did not, so you saw when I first did the basting, I did baste it at 5/8 inch, because I was thinking, oh, that should work. 5/8 inch for the inseam and the outer seam. It was still too loose. It was still, as you saw, it was still too loose. So what I did was trim that seam, those seams. I didn't unpick any of that. I trimmed the seams all the way down to probably 1/4 inch, and then I stitched from that raw edge another 5/8 inch. So what is that? It easily could have been like 1.5 inches. I went in on the side seams in the inseam because of the amount of stretch that's in this denim. So So again, keep that in mind because of the amount of stretch. This denim is absolutely so comfortable. You will see in the pictures that I did not do anything with the hem. What I end up doing with my hem is just cutting off 4 inches from the bottom of the pants. And I think I'm just gonna let them fray. I think I'm just gonna let them fray. I was thinking, oh, I'll do a, you know, a hem. You know, it calls for a 1-inch hem. But I was like, you know, I'm gonna go for something a little different look that I want to try. And so worst case scenario, if I don't like how it, you know, frays and all of that, I can always just add a hem, right? But I think I'll be fine with that. In the end, I have them on. So that's why I'm kind of doing this. But, and then at least when I put on the belt, as you can tell, so I'm gonna actually take these off so I can show you. And what I end up doing with the waistband, because as you saw, it was just, even when I did the Baste fit, the muslin, it was gaping. But because I didn't, you know, anticipate that I wouldn't have enough fabric to do the waistband as a whole piece, and I had to piece it all together, I just didn't measure those pieces out right to put together. And so I had that extra gaping and everything in the waist. And so I'll pop up here what it looks like after I took directly from the sides of the pattern. So real quick, I want to come in and show you, this is what happened after I added my belt loops. I put in, took out from the sides, and I wanted to make sure that where I took out matched up with the side seams, and that's also where I put my belt loop, also to kind of cover up a little bit of what I did. But as you can tell, that helped big time. And I am going to put on the belt. You'll see that in the pictures. But now the fit, much better. Much better. I end up having to go in another 5/8 of an inch from the trim line, and that seemed to work really well. Comfortable here, pockets, everything is sitting how I like. So yeah, as I was explaining there, I just took out from the sides, and I'm actually going to show you what it looks like on the inside, because what I wanted to do was I did not cut off the amount that I did end up pinching out, only because I was like, ooh, because you know, what fabric I have left is very little. I was like, ooh, what if I have to unpick this and do something else? I decided to leave that there, but I made sure that I put my belt loops on that side. Obviously you won't be able to see it even with my shirt half tucked in. You'll see in the pictures how I kind of styled it for today, but even with the half tucked in and all of that, you won't see any of that. But I want to show you what I did, because I was thinking, what if I have to unpick this waistband? I didn't want to take that excess fat, like cut it out. And so yeah, I'll show you that here in a second. But to wrap up my overall thoughts of this pattern, really good pattern. I actually really like this jean pattern. I like the fit, I like where it sits on me, and I do like it. I like how it gives me that nice fullness around the belly. If you don't have the Palmer and Plesh, the book, the pants fitting book, because I have that one, and I have the Fit for Real People book as well. Definitely, because this is a Palmer and Plesh pattern, you know, those, what they mention in the pattern, because there's a lot of fit. You do the tissue fit. I'm not a fan of tissue fitting. I'd rather just do a muslin. That's just me, my personal preference. But you know what they're saying in their book coincide with what they're going to say in the pattern. So if you do have both, that is good. I have both. So as you saw in those clips, I was able to use them. And so another thing I want to mention as well, I will link Tomcat Stitchery, her first video. The reason I end up following hers is because she did her fly grown on as opposed to a separate pattern piece. And I think the past couple pairs of jeans I did, it was always a separate pattern piece. So I was like, well, let me try her method and see how I like it. And I actually really do like it. So that saves a step and is so super easy. But anyway, so here is, I'm just gonna snap these together. So here are the jeans, right? And so I really like this. It's like you can almost kind of, yeah, it is coming off true to color. It's like a charcoal gray, and I know I'm losing a little bit of light, but yeah, love it. So I made sure all of my seams, I did do top stitching. I just don't use top stitching thread. That's my personal preference. Obviously, if you like that look, use your top stitching thread. But so obviously placement of belt loops and everything. But what I wanted to show you is, here's the side seam. So if you can tell, this is where I took in the waistband on the side, and I wanted to line up with my side seam. But on the inside, I left the excess fabric. And again, I did that because I was worried if I had to unpick this again and I cut all that off, what if I made a mistake in my estimation and I don't have enough fabric to do another waistband. So that's why I just left it. Obviously, nobody's gonna see this or know that's there but me. But that's what I did for the sides. I just made sure, and I used the raw edge of my fabric for the belt loops, but that's what I did for the sides where I put in that, where I have that excess. I just lined it, made sure that seam lined up with the side seam. I think I mentioned I use Ankara. I had some Ankara fabric left over I used for my pocket. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I highly recommend this pattern. It is really good. It's not hard to put together. As a matter of fact, because I went through the instructions and then I was like, well, since I'm gonna just look and see how Tomcat Stitchery Whitney did her grown on fly, I was like, let me just look at her sew along. So that's what I did. I just looked at her sew along. Some parts of it I didn't follow just because I know how to sew and I've made jeans before, but there were parts like the fly, the contour waistband, that type thing. I did just, you know, peek in on those just to make sure, you know, I was doing that right. But obviously I messed up the waistband a little bit. But so, and I put a snap on the front of mine. Obviously you can do a denim button. You can put whatever kind of closure you want on the front, but I love them. They turned out perfect. Again, you will see pictures and everything pop up here. Definitely let me know what you think. Let me know if you decide to make these. Would you make these? Don't be scared of jeans. Please don't be intimidated. When I first made jeans several years ago, I felt like I had superpowers. It just felt good. One of those things that, like, oh, you want to make a coat, you want to make jeans, you want to make that project that you know you have to really focus in on. And it took me, I would say, I don't think I mentioned it, it took me a full day to make these. I would say if I put time on it, 6 to 8 hours, stopping and pausing, different stuff like that. You can do these in a full day. Now, could it take a little longer if you decide to put in all the rivets and the extra hardware and do all the extra top stitching where you use top stitching thread? It's gonna take you a little bit longer because those are extra steps. But I absolutely love them. And thank you all again for picking McCall's 5894 Butterick 6840. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to make sure you, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. On the next video, you will see my final make from the Vegas trip, and then everything I kind of wore, Vegas, Michigan, that type thing video coming up next. All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today. I greatly appreciate it. You all have a blessed rest of your week, and it's probably going to be the new year when you see me again. So happy new year. Bye.